Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into a story that really blurs the lines, between straightforward true crime and something much stranger. We're talking about the Hollow Creek Butcher. It's a case from Missouri, pretty quiet town usually, but this story, it still gives people chills.
It really does. It's one of those that sticks with you.
So our mission today is to really get into this account. It's sourced from material that mixes the truly horrific with the unexplainable. We want to unpack it all, not just the murders, but the weird whispers, the shadows, and this idea that something lingered even after they caught the guy.
Right, and that winter, 1978 in Hollow Creek, what made it so terrifying wasn't just that people were dying, it was these symbols, bizarre, ancient-looking symbols left at the crime scenes.
Symbols, okay, that's already different.
Exactly. They suggested something much darker, maybe older than just, random violence.
So let's set the scene. Go back to that winter. What was Hollow Creek like before this terror started?
Well, think small town, pretty unassuming. Lots of farmland, those two-lane roads you see out in the Midwest. Life was predictable, stable.
Up till it wasn't.
Right. It started kind of quietly. A farmhand went missing. At first, people figured, oh, maybe he just packed up and left for his city, didn't think too much of it.
But that wasn't the end of it, obviously. Something worse happened.
Yeah. Then they found a drifter. He was in a barn loft, and he'd been, the report said slashed open.
Oh, wow.
And on the walls around him, strange markings. That's what the initial report called them. Just strange markings. It baffled the local cops.
And this wasn't just a one-off thing, was it? How fast did things get worse after finding him in the barn?
It escalated quickly. Just days later, a young couple found in an abandoned farmhouse.
The same kind of attack.
Exactly the same wounds, and those symbols again carved into the walls. The account describes them as deep circles and jagged lines, as if they were etched to last forever.
Etched to last forever. That's chilling.
That's when the press jumped on it, gave him the name, the Hollow Creek Butcher.
So a key thing here, right from the start, was this pattern. The victims seemed random, different types of people.
Totally random. Men, women, drifters, locals, even a shopkeeper everyone knew. But the wounds, identical. And the symbols, always the same symbols.
That must have really thrown the police.
It did. They knew this wasn't typical. It felt different. They actually brought in an expert, someone from the University of Missouri, to look at the carvings.
Wait, an expert. What did they make of these symbols? What do they mean?
Well, the story goes he spent hours looking at them, came out looking pretty shaken. He said, and this is a direct quote from the source, "These aren't doodles. They look ritualistic."
Ritualistic.
Yeah. And then he added, "Older than anything I've ever seen, and they don't belong here." That discovery, that really changed things for the town.
Wow. Older than anything. That kind of statement, especially about symbols at murder scenes, it must have just shifted everything. How did people react?
Well, you know how whispers start in small towns? They got louder. People started saying, maybe this isn't just a killer. Maybe it's something else.
Something else.
Yeah, the normal explanations just didn't seem to fit anymore. It wasn't just fear of a person. It was this deeper, unease.
So this fear builds up for months.
Yeah.
How did they finally catch someone? What led them to this guy, Elias Hart?
It took months. Then, near the edge of town, they picked up a drifter, Elias Hart. Looked rough, kind of wild-eyed. He was carrying a knife, and it had blood on it.
Okay, that sounds promising for the police.
And crucially, in the barn where he'd apparently been sleeping, they found a journal. And it was filled with drawings of those exact same symbols.
Ah, the symbols again. So during the interrogation, he confessed. Did he just lay it all out?
He did confess to all 5 murders, gave them details, the order of events, even told them where to find some evidence they hadn't uncovered yet. Looked like an open and shut case.
But there was a catch, right? Something unsettling about his confession.
Oh, yeah. There was this moment, the source describes him leaning forward. His voice got real low, almost reverent. And he said, "I didn't pick them. They told me who. They told me how." Yeah. He said, "I only followed the instructions. The ones standing behind you now. Can't you hear them whispering?"
Okay, chills. Just chills. What did the detectives think?
I mean, you can imagine. Was he just insane playing games, or was there something else going on? The account says they just sort of looked at each other really uneasy. It raised this huge question right from the start.
So the trial must have been intense.
A total spectacle. Elias showed zero remorse. Apparently, he even laughed when they showed the crime scene photos.
Laughed?
Yeah. And witnesses said he'd mutter constantly during testimony. Some people swore it sounded like a foreign language, but nobody could place it. And reporters mentioned how he'd stare, but not at people, more like over their shoulders, as if he was watching someone standing right behind them.
That is deeply creepy. And it didn't stop in the courtroom.
No. There's this account from one of the jurors. She claimed she woke up in her motel room one morning, looked in the bathroom mirror, and saw those same symbols scratched into the condensation.
What? No way.
It's the claim. So, yeah. He was convicted, 5 counts of murder, sentenced to death. Most people probably thought, okay, it's over. But the source material is clear. It says that was only the beginning.
Only the beginning. So even on death row, things kept happening. What kind of things?
Yeah, the strange stuff seemed to follow him. Guards reported his cell was always freezing cold, like unnaturally cold, even in summer.
Weird.
And flies. They said flies would gather, but only on his food tray.
Why?
Nowhere else. And at night, other inmates, they swore they heard voices coming from his cell.
Voices.
Plural.
Multiple voices.
Okay.
Sometimes whispering, sometimes apparently shrieking, and again, in languages nobody recognized.
Man,
There's
this
a
is
lot. So it wasn't just one or two odd things. It was a whole pattern of this really disturbing activity. How did the guards handle it?
It got to them. One guard, apparently put in a transfer, refused to work that cell block anymore. He claimed he saw shadows moving on the wall inside Elias's cell, even when Elias was clearly asleep.
Shadows moving on their own.
Just a consistent, terrifying pattern. And then came his execution. His final words, spoken apparently very calmly, were, "Killing me won't end this. You're only setting them free."
Setting them free. Okay, that's ominous. What happened at the moment of execution? The sources mention chaos.
Absolute chaos. The moment they threw the switch, every light in the entire prison just exploded, popped, plunged the whole place into pitch darkness.
The whole prison.
The whole prison. And it stayed dark for, the account says 17 minutes. Just black chaos. And in that darkness, 3 guards later swore they saw figures.
Figures. Like what?
Tall, faceless figures gathered around the chair, watching, whispering.
That's how they described it.
Faceless figures. Okay. So Elias Hart is executed, buried in an unmarked grave. Hollow Creek breathes a sigh of relief, right? The nightmare's over. That's what they thought, or hoped. But nope, the horror wasn't done, not by a long shot.
What happened next?
Within months, people connected to the case started dying, strangely. Detective Ronald Keene, he was the one who took Elias's confession,
Yeah.
died in a car crash. Witnesses said he just swerved violently, like he was avoiding someone who suddenly appeared right in the middle of the road. But nobody else saw anyone.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Then Sheriff Daniel Harper, the man who arrested Elias, he was found dead in his home.
And it came
His ain't guess.
You guessed it. His walls and even his body carved with those same ritualistic symbols from the crime scenes, and there were no signs of anyone breaking in.
Oh my God. Inside his own locked house.
Exactly. And even the university professor, the expert who studied the symbols, found dead in his office. His research notes were soaked in blood. And across his chalkboard, someone had scrawled the words, "We're still here."
We're still here. This is like something out of a horror movie, but it's presented as fact in these accounts.
It really is. The narrative just keeps piling on these deeply unsettling events. So fast forward to today, decades later. Does Hollow Creek still feel this darkness? What about that farmhouse?
It's still standing, well, as a ruin. People avoid it, naturally. But paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, they go there.
And what do they find? Or what do they say they find?
Consistent reports. Batteries in their equipment draining instantly. Sudden, intense cold spots that apparently smell like iron and rot.
Ugh. Iron and rot. Like blood and decay.
Precisely. And some claim they've recorded EVP's electronic voice phenomena, whispers that just say, behind you.
Nope. Just didn't know.
Yeah. It's pretty chilling stuff.
And it's not just the farmhouse, is it? The influence seems wider. The symbols, the disappearances.
That's the thing. It seems to linger in the area. Hikers out in the woods nearby still report finding fresh carvings in trees. They're same impossible symbols.
Fresh carvings. Now,
apparently, locals tend to steer clear of certain areas, especially after dark. And travelers. Occasionally, people still go missing near Hollow Creek. Their cars are sometimes found abandoned by the roadside, maybe with one of those symbols carved into the hood.
so the pattern just continues.
Yeah.
The symbols, the disappearances.
It seems like it. The darkness, as the source puts it, never really lifted.
So, after digging into all this, how do we even begin to make sense of it? Was Elias Hart just a profoundly disturbed individual, maybe schizophrenic,
Yeah.
who genuinely believed these things?
That's one possibility, certainly, that he created this whole mythology in his own mind to justify or explain his actions.
Or do we consider the other possibility? Based on his last words, setting them free and everything that happened after his death, could he have been like a conduit, a vessel for something else? Did he actually open some kind of door that never got closed?
That's the terrifying question the narrative leaves you with, isn't it? The murders, the ones attributed directly to Elias, stopped in 78. But the symbols keep showing up. People still hear whispers. People still vanish. It forces you to confront that possibility.
So if those final words were true, if he did unleash something and it's still out there, what does that even mean? About evil, about what could be moving around us that we don't see?
It suggests that maybe, just maybe, some killers aren't the ultimate source of the horror. Maybe they're just the instrument, a channel for something much older, much more sinister.
It definitely leaves you thinking, wondering what might be moving in the shadows, long after you turn the lights out.
Exactly. It's a story that truly haunts you.
Please subscribe to our channel. Your support motivates us to create even more great content for you. Thank you so much.